My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Capricorns. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general reading, your past, present, future, a 9-card spread. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and finish off with 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started with your reading. General card is the King of Swords upright, having this very good plan. So, let's look at the first row. And you start off with Sun reversed. Now, I'm not allowed to show the Sun reversed, but it came up in reversed. Leo energy. 2 of Swords, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, reversed. And the 4 of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Okay. Yeah, the thing is that, it's like there was probably a lack of clarity, where you started off with, but yet I do think it's, what makes, sense, at least in this combination, is that you did know which direction you were heading off towards, even though the sun wasn't really shining in your favor, but it could have also been lack of confidence or maybe, self-doubt in other ways that actually kind of forced you to say, okay, we're going to have to now start taking action, or we're going to actually head off towards, this kind of offering, but yet you're kind of hesitant about it. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like you should always, look at any kind of 4 of Cups offering because, if there's any kind of anything that's really holding you back, if there's something that's really kind of causing you to think, well, pretty much, the timing isn't right and stuff like that, or it just really seems like a too good to be true kind of offering in other ways, you would really have to look into this before it's too late, before you pretty much sign some kind of contract and then, there's all kinds of problems behind it, right? But anyway, it's just very good, it's like even though you probably just thought, okay, we're going to have to try something, but I would definitely have always looked into any kind of 4 of Cups, but of course the clarification will always give a different light onto this matter to verify whether this was actually an honest offering as well. I mean, either way, it's like if you actually were heading off towards this offering, maybe it was actually a really good choice to make. Because in current times, you do get Justice upright, Libra energy. Ooh, Devil reversed, one of your cards, but it came in reverse, so it's an interesting, good major arcana. But then you get the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Okay. So the thing is I'm wondering if this offering could have kind of put you in a sense of Ace of Pentacles, where it was pretty much a too good to be true kind of offering in other ways. Maybe, you're actually kind of forgoing some kind of offering in other ways as well, but normally you would think if you were releasing yourself from the Devil, then there would actually be the Ace of Pentacles upright. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it looked incredibly balanced. Like, it looked like that the contract that you were probably going to be signing, was probably a legal, legit, kind of offering where you pretty much thought, okay, everything just looks clear. I'm finally releasing myself, from the Devil of any kind of situation, but yet it also seemed like it was almost like a 7 of Swords kind of offering as well. Well, I want to verify this eventually because, I just want to make sure that it's really not going to be, like causing problems. Because in the future, though, you do get your brother, sister, Hermit's Virgo card, Page of Pentacles reversed, and then you get the Page of Swords upright. Okay, so I feel like that maybe, you could have been deceived somehow, but of course, this is just the first part of the reading, so it doesn't mean that it's the entire reading. But this is kind of the first glimpse I'm just getting, is that, you're probably pondering, you're kind of going within to wonder why the Ace of Pentacles came in reversed. Because, you're obviously not getting any kind of financial benefits or means out of it, so now you're finally taking action with the Ace of Swords, with the Page of Swords, sorry about that, but this is pretty much having this outgoings card, because even though it's like you could always still have Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, but what comes after you is Aquarius, so this could also be taking place around Aquarius season as well. However, I just feel like, okay, it's like there's something, that's kind of, not really working are going to be benefiting you, but that's why I kind of want to quickly look into this to verify this, because so far it just looks like, it was a bit of a too good to be true kind of offering, but we'll have to look into that on a deeper level. Because for Sun reversed, you do get the Lord of Grails, which means this was like a diplomatic offering. So, well, you did get some kind of offering, but it wasn't really clear, or maybe, just let me just, remind you of something. Because also having no confidence within yourself, that also puts you in a vulnerable position. What does vulnerability attract? Predators. Because when you're pretty much like in a vulnerable position with, any kind of like, you have no job, you're pretty much homeless, or you pretty much just are struggling or suffering, that's when the predators will approach you to see how they can take advantage of the situation. But it could also be how you were also being presented with some kind of diplomatic offering, but you just somehow just felt like it was a bit unclear. And maybe that's why, you were just kind of choosing, which direction you were heading off towards. And then it led you over towards the Four of Cups. A little bit on the hesitant side, but we'll have to also verify all the other cards to make sure that's exactly what it was all about. But it's also Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. So anyway, here you get the Two of Swords. You know exactly which direction you're heading off towards, and now you get confidence with the Four of Wands. So the thing is maybe you're kind of foregoing that diplomatic offering, because if something, is a bit too, shaded over, where you pretty much just only see a lot of, just, words, and it just doesn't make any sense to you, and it's pretty much just saying, yeah, you can pretty much win so much, or there are all these benefits, but they don't mention the benefits. If you, get some kind of, like salary, but they don't mention the number, or the work hours, they don't mention anything, all of this stuff where you just think, I'm not too certain if I want to proceed with it. So now you pretty much are going to choose something way better, because now this is where your confidence is now going to take over to say, nope, I'm going to be guiding you towards a different route and path. Because Four of Cups, exactly, you got the Seven of Swords. This is kind of what I was worried about. This is kind of like a deceptive kind of offering that took place. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, you are a realistic, rational earth sign. Yes, you may be the last, but never the least, and that even goes for all the other signs, whether it's, but anyway, the point what I want to make is this is definitely an offering, where you pretty much just thought, no, this is a bit too good to be true kind of offering. But of course, the thing is mind you, is at the moment where something just will seem like a very beautiful offering, it's like, if it didn't work out and you somehow did get betrayed or deceived in other ways, where it was actually okay, you signed, the dotted line, and you pretty much just thought, well, this is better than being homeless or having no job. Okay, it's like, it will be incredibly self-forgiving on so many levels. Don't feel like, oh goodness, I really hate myself and blah, 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 all this negative self-talk. The thing is save all the hatred for the outside world, but love yourself unconditionally, and always protect yourself and take good care of yourself. And that's kind of the crux of many, lifestyles and stuff like that, But anyway, I was just kind of worried about that, right? So for Justice, you get Six of Pentacles. So now, it's like you're going to maybe have to, pay up, or maybe you will win some kind of legal battle, and maybe that's what the Devil reverse is all about. Because, it's like striking a deal with the Devil, or even being released from, like, this deceptive person. I do see something, winning at least in your favor. And I think, okay, congratulations, because that deceptive person approached you when you were vulnerable. That was what the Lord of Grails individual was all about, because that's how predators approach. And that's even, my, cautionary tale in the sense, if you're ever alone, always make sure, you have any kind of means around, about yourself, any kind of means of protection, even your cellular device. Always let people know your location, stuff like that. And even in the sense of if something, it's like, will just, seems, like you're, out of a job, or you come across as being desperate, that's where, the wrongdoers can pretty much just kind of, will, come across as, a wolf in sheep's clothing to say, yeah, you can come and will approach me and stuff like that, but lean a bit closer, come on, closer, 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 and then, they pretty much can do whatever, right? So, that's just, my, my cautionary tale for being a vampire, of course. Because for the Devil reversed, you get Two of Grails. So, your senses and intuition are this potential partnership, or maybe you and your lawyer, or whoever is pretty much going to be guiding you, is finally releasing yourself from this devil situation. And that's pretty much about it. That's where you pretty much now have to actually take good care of yourself and actually think, okay, these are actual learning moments. And I'm glad that this isn't a learning moment instead of a missed opportunity. But of course, like missed opportunities are always really good to look at, especially when it comes from a Seven of Swords and Four of Cups kind of situation, because you really want to make sure, any kind of offering is legitimate. Any kind of product that you want to purchase is an honest product, and not that the next day or 5 minutes later it breaks and that there's no, refund for those types, right? So I would definitely, just kind of just think, okay, we've learned from this, but how are we going to improve it for the upcoming? Because that's what this general thought of plan is to say, okay, we may have been, hoodwinked in other ways, but now we know exactly which direction we're going to be taking. Because despite the Ace of Pentacles, a missed opportunity, which is probably good, you get the Lord of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. So it's Taurus, Capricorn, of course, Capricorn for you. Well, you finally coming out, or Virgo card, but you coming out in your confident position taking place, and that's what I love to see. Is you're actually foregoing this this offering and stuff like that, because now you're going to come across as being a way stronger, more confident person than before. And I would really just but I think with any kind of offerings, any kind of contracts, it's like a lot of humans, when they pretty much just think, do you agree to these terms? People immediately just hit, yeah, I'm not going to even read it. I just hit agree. And suddenly all of these unknown, like, these, like stipulations and stuff like that start showing up. And you think, my goodness, if only I would have read that contract. Contracts are not always easy to read. And as a matter of fact, they're quite boring, to be honest, right? But it's pretty much eating vegetables. It's going to be benefiting you if you pretty much educate yourself and you will pretty much, just acclimate yourself in the whole situation. Then you can actually think, okay, so suddenly, if I, will sign this deal or this contract deal, then that means that I have to constantly pay money. I have to, constantly do this, but that's not what I want. I want to actually receive money. I want to actually, gain, all of this stuff. I don't want to have to be the one that suddenly gets thrown into, this, situation that's, definitely, quite the opposite of what I've, what I'm actually looking for in other ways. So, because again, you're doing a lot of introspection with hermit mode, and then you could be, you received another offering, but this is actually, your cautionary tale that's actually going to be guiding you towards the best possible outcome in other ways. Because, if there's any kind of hesitancy, that's definitely going to be benefiting you, rather than just thinking, okay, let's just see where this may take us. Because I'll tell you something, it's like if you even get a chance to watch, my previous video on the casket girls and stuff like that, these girls were also misled. These nuns from France, they mostly, brought these poor innocent girls, mind you, not women, but girls, over to New Orleans to say, yep, you're going to be promised this beautiful, lavish lifestyle. You're going to be married, you're going to have kids. Instead of being this negative woman and maybe being a prostitute, now you're going to be able to be a housewife, or maybe, you might be able to get a good job and career. Far from the truth. And that's the thing. These girls, they pretty much didn't even get a chance to actually explore the whole Four of Cups, offering where there's hesitation involved. But these girls were probably just thinking, okay, we're actually being promised something. We get to leave, this current situation of ours and stuff like that. Well, maybe we might find our Prince Charming. Sad. Because here, you're pretty much, well, maybe you don't have a job as of yet, because with any kind of offerings, now you're going to be a bit on the skeptical side, but I do see you winning some battle with the Five of Swords. Another air placement. My goodness, there's so much air placements taking place. But anyway, I just think, okay, it's like eventually, it's like maybe you're going to be, stronger and more confident and more assertive to actually be, explaining the situations to these people. Maybe you're going to be, having a bit more of an honest conversation with any kind of upcoming bosses or people that are going to be interviewing you for jobs and careers and stuff like that as well. So, but I do see you winning eventually some big battle, and I want to actually move over to the last bit, because for having this confidence and outgoingness within yourself, you get a star wish fulfillment. Congratulations. And this is what I like to see. Is the fact is you're finally, regaining this assertive side to you, where you pretty much just think, okay, I'm not going to allow other people to dominate and to roll over and to just think, okay, it's like with all of these, diplomatic offerings and stuff like that, the thing is when you're in your most vulnerable, that's where you're pretty much incredibly, in a weakened state. Not saying that you are weak, but I was in a weakened state myself when I was pretty much alone in my tarot shop, and it was pretty much, in the evening hours. I didn't turn my closed or my open to closed. I didn't pre-lock, so I pretty much put myself in a vulnerable state so this vampire could approach me. So that's why, I feel like that today's reading is based off of that you've actually learned a very important lesson, and it's pretty much going to be benefiting you with this beautiful Star Wish fulfillment, also known as an Aquarius card, which will take place after you. But anyway, oh my goodness, yes. Your special vampire card, you get Judgment. Sense of clarity, head out of the clouds, and grand announcement taking place. My goodness. And this is what I was just even thinking about, is redemption, absolution, forgiveness, and penance. Forgive yourself, protect yourself, care for yourself. If you want to do penance, head off towards the Star Wish fulfillment and grant yourself the wish you deserve. I don't believe in any kind of punishment or anything, but I do believe in self-forgiveness, absolution, and if you want to redeem yourself, there's so much to redeem yourself in so many ways. Just please don't give up. Please just always take excellent good care of yourself. Just, don't always just think, oh goodness, it's like I just made this big mistake. Now it's all game over. According to who? Whom? According to what theory? What kind of law? So here it's pretty much just thinking, okay, now we know exactly what's taking place. Now we know which, direction we're going to be heading off towards, because I see, you winning battles. I see this cautionary tale finally resurfacing, but now there's a big sense of clarity waiting for you. Okay. So I'm going to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause this video and think about the questions you want answered. Because speaking of the devil reversed again for number 1, it is a definite yes for answer number 1. And then for number 2, you actually get another yes with the 2 of Pentacles upright. And then you do get a no with the 9 of Cups reversed for number 3. So at least you do get 2 yeses and 1 no. My beautiful Capricorns, I'm going to have to leave it at this. But if this reading resonated for Capricorn placements, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel for more vampire information, knowledge, stories. Because next week I'm going back to Dracula, because we're heading off towards October 31st. Scorpio season, of course, but of course yours. It comes afterwards, but please stay tuned for the upcoming performance that's going to be taking place. My goodness, we have mixed feelings, but we still enjoy what we do and stuff like that. But other than that, the rest of the week is going to be based off of general love readings, so please feel free to stay tuned for that as well. But other than that, I want to wish you all the best of luck on this beautiful recovery, this healing, and this beautiful cautionary tale, and eventually it's going to be benefiting you nonetheless. But otherwise, I love you guys, and thank you so much for joining me this fabulous evening.